Hello there, Will Williamson here from the JDR Group. This video is called 20 Marketing Ideas for Manufacturing Businesses. Before we get into the meat of the content, I just wanted to introduce myself personally. My name is Will Williamson, as I said. I've been with the JDR Group since we very first started back in 2004. And over that time, I have been into and met and spent time with hundreds, probably even thousands now, of manufacturing businesses just like yours. So with all that experience, we've put together a series of 20 tips and ideas that I hope you will find really useful. So without further ado, let's get into 20 marketing ideas for manufacturing businesses.
Welcome to 20 marketing tips for manufacturers with me, Will Williamson of the JDR Group. Let's start by talking about the current state of play with UK manufacturing. Well, in September 2015, the CBI put out data that showed that manufacturing output had actually stalled in the UK after 2 years of decent growth. Now, there's a number of reasons behind this. You have economic problems in China, or a potential slowdown in China at least. You have dwindling exports because of the strong pound, amongst other things. You have sluggish growth in the Eurozone. And then since that point, we've then had the steel crisis. So there are a number of different things that are affecting UK manufacturing that means that the current state of play is a little uncertain, and we don't know how the next year, 2 years, 3 years is going to go in terms of the wider economy. Now, as a business owner, if you're in marketing or if you're in business development and sales, whatever your role in your business, it's important that you as a company continue to grow and thrive and succeed whatever happens in the wider economy. And you can't rely on manufacturing as a whole to grow and be successful, or the government to make decisions that make it grow and be successful. You need to take things into your own hands as much as you can and control the things that you can control. And one of those things is your marketing. So what do we mean by marketing? Good sales and marketing helps you to do a number of different things. The first is to attract new inquiries and leads. It also helps you to take on more new customers and attract new customers from those inquiries and those leads. But it also helps you to improve the perception of your business or the perception of your products or services. Perhaps to have yourself perceived to be a higher quality or a higher value business, so that you can command higher prices, for example. It can help you to increase awareness of your business, or awareness of your products or services even, so that it helps you improve conversion rates and attract more leads that way. But also, it's not all about new customers, because not every manufacturing business needs new customers. It can also be about increasing the order values of existing customers, or improving repeat business, or getting more word-of-mouth business. Now, even most manufacturing businesses that I've met over the time, they have very strong word-of-mouth as it's a great source of new business revenue for them. Some others use trade shows. They have salespeople. They'll use their website. They'll use a range of different ways of attracting people. In many cases, the business owners, the businesses that we come across in manufacturing, have maybe 1, 2, 3 marketing sources at most. And if you only have 1, 2, 3 marketing sources, you are at risk, because if one of those stops working or becomes ineffective for any reason, then the whole thing can collapse. A bit like if you have only 2 or 3 major customers, if one of those was to go, then it would cause you big problems. And with marketing, it's exactly the same. So we recommend you have at least 10 different marketing strategies. So that way, if one of those stops becoming as effective, the rest still support it, and you still are able to grow and be successful as a business. Now, this video is designed to give you some ideas and some new inspiration of what those 10 could look like, and some of the new things that you could be doing. Now, we're going to start with number 1, which is to measure absolutely everything to do with your marketing. Now, I've been around lots and lots of shop floors, lots of factories, and I've seen the charts on the wall. I've seen the return rates, the productivity being measured. I've seen outputs being measured. I've seen profit and loss being analysed, but I don't very often see people doing the same kind of analysis on their marketing numbers. So there's a number of things that you can and should be doing with your marketing to track things. So one of those is using Google Analytics, which is a free tool that you can install on your website if you don't have it already. If you do have it, actually look at it once a month at least, because this will tell you how many people are visiting the website, where they're coming from, what pages they're looking at, how long they're spending. It gives you valuable information about how people are engaging with your website. The next is to track the source of all of your new leads, new inquiries, finding out how people came across you, how people discovered you in the first place. Then that tells you which marketing is working. Now, a lot of people, I come across do that kind of informally, but what I'm talking about is actually to write that down, to track it, to keep a track of the numbers over a period of time and measure it. The next thing to measure is your sales pipeline. How many quotes do you have? What's the value of those quotes? What percentage are you winning, etc. And to measure the actual activity, what sales activities you're doing, what marketing activities you're doing, is that something that's growing? So when we work with a client, what we'll do is set out a set of key performance indicators to help track every week, month, to analyse what is working, to help predict what's going to happen next month, next 3 months, and to be able to improve the results as we go along. Now, one of the key things to measure is the cost of acquisition. So what this is, the cost of attracting a new customer. The way you work this out is by taking the total cost of one of your forms of marketing. Let's say you go to a trade show and that costs you £30,000. You divide that number by the total number of new customers you've got by going to that trade show. So if it was 30, it would be an average of £1,000 per customer. So the cost of acquisition for your trade show would be £1,000. Now, you should be measuring this number for every form of marketing that you've got, so you can see where you're able to effectively buy customers most effectively. Now, if you then measure the next number, which is the lifetime value, so this is the total customer spend over their entire lifetime with you, or the total profit that you make from each customer on average over their entire buying cycle with you, then you look at those two numbers. As long as you're able to effectively buy customers, the acquisition cost is much lower than the lifetime value that you get, then your marketing is in profit. Now, time and time again, I've spoken to engineers and manufacturing directors, and they've spent money on marketing and not seen the result from it. But actually, sometimes if you look at the lifetime value of the customers that they have acquired from that marketing, it has been really, really significant. And a lot of people tend to look at marketing as an expense, as a nice to have, as something that is expendable, particularly when times are tough. And if you know that your marketing is reliably bringing in income and it's producing a return on your investment, then that is something that you can continue to invest in. It should be a bigger priority in most manufacturing businesses than it is. Now, you may need to estimate this figure. It can be tricky to get. So if you work out that a customer on average spends X amount per year, you don't get that many leave, let's say they're going to stay with you, say 5 years. That's a bit of a rough estimate, but it's still a very, very useful number to know and keep track of. You may want to be conservative with it, and then if they spend more with you, then it's a bonus. So your lifetime value exceeds your cost of acquisition, then what that means is your marketing is effectively free. You make money, it's a profit center, it's not something that's a cost. Number 4, be unique, stand out from the crowd. You want to differentiate yourself from your competitors. Now, most people, I ask about, what sets you apart? What's the reason your customers choose to work with you rather than anyone else they could go to? And they'll say, well, it's the quality, it's our service. We've been around longest. We've got ISO approval. But these are not unique. Lots of other people have these. Lots of other companies have those things. In fact, most of your potential customers actually take those things for granted. They expect to have high quality. They expect a good service. They expect you to have all of the right credentials and qualifications. So those things by themselves are not unique. So find a USP, a unique selling point that is different from your competitors, because being different can be better than actually being better. And one of the ways that you can do this is to use a guarantee, which is where you say, we'll guarantee this will happen, and if not, you will get X. So we will guarantee that we will meet your turnaround time. If not, you will get 30% off the cost of your order, and we will ensure that it's with you within 2 days, for example. Now, this is, as I said, it's a great way to differentiate yourself. Now, the big concern with offering a guarantee is, isn't that going to cost us lots of money? Aren't loads of people going to claim their money back and claim discounts, and it's actually going to be a huge problem for us? Well, actually, the overwhelming majority of customers won't actually claim your guarantee, and the uplift that you get from new customers will absolutely dwarf the amount that do. So the way you can do this is sometimes by guaranteeing things that you're already doing in your business. So I gave the example of meeting a turnaround time. Well, you might already be doing that as a matter of course in your business. So to offer a guarantee on it is no challenge whatsoever. But your competitors might be doing it, but if you're the only person that guarantees it, that can be the thing that separates you from your competitors. And the big thing about guarantees and offering a guarantee is it reduces the sense of risk for your potential customers. If they're thinking of putting a 20 grand order with you, or a 50 grand order, or a 100 grand order with you, and they are nervous about doing so, a guarantee reduces those nerves, reduces that sense of risk from them. Number 6 is to create case studies. Take the time to create some case studies of examples of customers that you've helped and done a great job with. So you can interview your best customers, get some photographs, get some statistics to support it. And the way you phrase a case study, the way you put it together, is to start by what the problem was that they came to you with, how you solved it, what the benefits to the customer were of you solving that problem, and then use quotes, direct quotes from the customer, use pictures to support it, use statistics to put it together into something that looks a little like the one I've just showed you here. Now, you can be very selective about who sees those. So, in other words, a lot of business development managers, salespeople, MDs of manufacturing businesses I talk to, they will be concerned about putting case studies on a website because they don't want their competitors to start approaching their customers. Now, what I'm saying is you can be selective about who sees them. You don't just have to put them on your website. You can use them discreetly in your sales process or as part of a presentation. You can also have people fill out extensive contact forms on your website before you send them the case studies, so that you can know, you be in control of who's seeing them and who isn't seeing them. But having case studies, if you show them on your website, it helps to attract inquiries. If you use them as part of your sales process, it helps to convert quotes and sales opportunities into orders and paying customers. Number 7, use video. You put a video on your website, it is an incredibly powerful tool that someone can play and sit there and get more from a 2-3 minute video than they could by reading your entire website. This is our website, this is the video on our homepage. I encourage you to go and watch that, take a look. Now, because of the reducing costs of video equipment, of lighting equipment, of sound equipment, it's possible there are proliferation now of video production companies that can create a 1-2-3 minute kind of mini TV commercial for you at a very low cost these days, and you can put that on the homepage of your website or anywhere else on your website. They're very effective. But you don't just have to use TV production companies. Most smartphones now have a very powerful video camera that you can record your own videos. So that can be things like video testimonials. So you can interview a customer and have them say to the camera what a great job you've done for them. You can record yourself demonstrating your product or demonstrating the capabilities of your machine. You can interview key members of your staff. You can do tours around the factory. This is especially useful if you're exporting, because if you are trying to deal with people the other side of the world and they can effectively get the kind of tour around your facilities that you would give if they were there in person, but they get it by video and they can watch it from the comfort of their office rather than having to have the time, expense of getting on an aeroplane, then that is incredibly powerful. And finally, you can use sales presentations. If your salespeople have a series of PowerPoint slides that they go through with someone, well, you can create a video like this that goes through those sales presentations, and you can deliver your sales presentations then remotely by video. So video, as well as being something that's useful for the website, can be used in your sales process. When it's on the website, it improves website rankings. It makes you more likely that your website will come up well in Google. And it also helps to convert visitors into leads and inquiries. Number 8, document your sales process. So if you haven't done this already, you want to take the different steps of your sales process and write them down, define them. Step 1 is to make contact with the customer. Step 2 is to do a needs analysis or a site visit. Step 3 is to create a prototype or to collect drawings, etc. Have those different steps defined. You may have 3 or 4 different sales processes for different products or different services within your business or different departments in the company, but it's important to have those defined. And when you've got those defined, actually try and systemize them as best you can. So scripts, templates, processes, kind of template presentations that you use at different stages of the sales process. If you have those documented and prepared, it's going to help you in a number of ways. And then thirdly, to measure the results at every stage. So you can track how many people are going to stage 1, how many people go to stage 2, how many people go to stage 3, what are the conversion rates at every stage, and you can see where the drop-off is and where you may need to be able to improve certain elements of the sales process. So a documented sales process, it increases sales, first of all. It's proven to work time and time again. It also makes it much, much easier to bring new salespeople into your business, into your organization, and have them work consistently and quickly and effectively for you because there are set processes they can follow. Number 9 is to use a CRM system, and this will help your salespeople immeasurably. So a CRM stands for a Customer Relationship Manager. So this is a type of software that you can use that will help you to stay in touch and organize all of the sales prospects and all of your customers, all of the people that you need to maintain a relationship with. So some examples, we personally in our business, we use the HubSpot free CRM, which is, as it says on the tin, it's a free CRM system. Zoho also have a free version of their CRM system, which is very good. And then you've got more premium products like Salesforce, and there are now hundreds and hundreds of others, some that are very industry specific, that you can use to manage and organize all of your contacts. So within these systems, what you're able to do is to log phone calls, keep a record of all the emails that you send, log quotes, responses, and manage the entire sales process. And you, as the business owner or director, you can log in and see what your salespeople are doing, who they're talking to, what level of activity, what conversion rates, what's in their pipeline. So it gives you a tremendous kind of shared data for the business. And ultimately, it means that you don't rely just on your salespeople's contacts or lose them when they go. So if a salesperson comes to you and they bring a whole series of contacts from the industry because they've been around for a while, well, they input those contacts then into your CRM system. And if they go, then you've still got those contacts. You don't lose them when the salesperson goes. Number 10 is, now, there are a lot of people in manufacturing that are really holding on to trade shows. But the point I want to make is for you to reconsider those. I'm not saying that you shouldn't keep doing trade shows, but they are proving to be less and less effective over time. So firstly, there's a gradual decline in attendance, the number of people actually going to these events. And that's mainly because of the internet. People have access to the internet where they can find whatever information they want about any new products or services, any new potential suppliers. They can meet with people by conference calls and online video meetings. You don't have to get on a plane anymore to go to an exhibition in Germany, for example, when you have the internet. So there's fewer and fewer people going to these things. There's also quite a high cost associated with trade shows. When you factor in not just the cost of the stand itself, of the plot itself, but you've got the preparation, all of the marketing materials you need to take with you, the flyers, the leaflets, the brochures, the travel, and also the time and the opportunity cost of, if you weren't at this trade show for 3 days, what results would you be getting normally in the business, because you miss out on those because you're away at a trade show. Now, the money that is invested into trade shows could be invested far better, in my opinion. With certain forms of online marketing especially, you'll get more bang for your buck, in my opinion, than most trade shows. Not all, but most. Number 11, produce product specification documents and machine capabilities, machine capacities. So put together data documents that your customers can download from your website, or that you can email people, that give them the data and the information that they need to help them make decisions. Where possible, make them visual, so use graphs, videos, charts. Consider not just putting them for every Tom, Dick and Harry to look at on your website, but you could ask for contact details in exchange for this kind of detailed level of information. And don't just include the basic facts and figures. Also, it's worth including the benefits. So if you've got a machine with a certain set of capacity, then give the benefit of what it can do and why that, how you add value to that machine, and answer any potential objections that someone might have in working with you, or any fears that they may have in working with you with that particular machine or with that particular product. Your prospects, they want to be able to do their own research now in their own time. So your job is to make sure that you provide the information that helps them make their decision, because they don't necessarily want to sit in front of a salesperson. They'd much rather be able to do their own research for themselves. Number 12, which plays into that, is to use statistics. So what I'm talking about here, performance statistics, statistics that back up your claims about how good your quality is, how good your service is, how good your products are. So statistics help prove it. So if, for example, you have very low rates of return, don't just say you provide good quality or you provide a good service. Give the specific number of your return rates. If that is 0.3%, for example, that is a figure that you can put throughout all of your marketing materials that proves what you say about the quality and the service that they're going to get. So you can include things like return rate, performance statistics, and also reviews. It's really useful to get third-party reviews on websites like Trustpilot or Google that back up what you're saying. If you've got, we're on average rated 5 stars out of 5 for customer service, that is incredibly useful to back up what you're saying and how to help you win business, convert quotes, etc. So you want to use this throughout your marketing materials. Don't just take your own high standards and your high performance for granted. Tell people. Don't hide it under a bushel. You want to make sure that you tell everybody specifically as you can how good you are and why it matters to them. Tip number 13 is to use e-commerce, online shopping. This is where if you make a product that you sell via distributors or third parties, retailers, whatever it might be, consider setting up your own e-commerce website and selling directly. You can do this without upsetting your existing customers. That's the big stumbling block, really, is that if you go direct to the public or go direct to the end user, what you'll be doing is going into competition with your customers. And there are ways that you can do that without losing customers and upsetting people. It's not easy, but if you get in touch with me at will@jdrgroup.co.uk or drop me an email, get in touch via the website, I'll be happy to talk to you more about how you can do that. If you go down the line of setting up your own e-commerce business, your own online shop, be aware you need to give it time and it will take investment. 15 years ago, if you set up an e-commerce business, you just started a website and the orders would start flowing in. Now there's so much competition. There are thousands and thousands of websites out there that it takes time to break through, and it takes investment, it takes a bit of knowledge, it takes a good partner. So one of the ways of shortcutting that process and to build a customer base quickly is to use eBay and Amazon, who have the markets already. You have to pay fees to do that. It's not the most profitable way of doing it, but it is a fast way of building a customer base. You need to use your own website as well, though. You can't just sell direct on eBay and Amazon, because at any moment they could change the rules, and you want to have your own real estate and your own place of business. So selling direct means ultimately that you can make higher margins. You can sell at a higher price for your products. You can also get better cash flow, and it can actually be better for the customer because sometimes they could get lower prices, for example, because you're cutting out so many different steps of the chain potentially and getting it direct. And it means that if they have a problem, they can go direct to the source that it's made. Number 14, answer frequently asked questions. So in your business, you will be asked certain questions by your customers on a regular basis. So you can answer those in articles. So if you get asked how to solve a particular problem, write the answer to that problem and post that to your website or to your blog. And that way, every time someone asks you that question, you can direct them to that page of your website. But also anyone that types that question into Google looking for an answer could come across you and find you. You can also use video. You can video yourself answering those questions, and you don't have to stop at the questions your existing customers ask you. You could answer some of the fears or concerns or objections that your sales prospects have as well. So what these do is these attract website visitors. They get more people coming to your website. They're also really useful in the sales process. They're also really useful as a customer services tool. Number 15 is to use LinkedIn. Now, social media is a big topic, and a lot of manufacturers aren't big believers in social media. Let's put it like that. Now, I am a big believer in social media, and I believe that Facebook is a very powerful tool for manufacturers. I believe that Twitter is a very powerful tool. But if you are going to do just one, it would be LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the top social media network for professionals, for directors, for senior managers. There are thousands of senior engineers on LinkedIn, and tens of thousands around the world, probably hundreds of thousands. So with LinkedIn, what you want to do is to create your own business page, and you also want to make sure that your own personal profile is updated, you have a professional looking photograph, everything is filled in. And you want to make sure other senior people in your business, particularly those that are customer facing or that are involved in sales, they update their LinkedIn profiles. What you can then do is to connect, find your customers, find your prospects, and connect with them on LinkedIn personally. Find groups that are relevant to your industry. Post content, post your videos, post articles, post products from your website, so that your connections see those things and start participating in those online conversations on LinkedIn. What LinkedIn can do is to almost act as your own digital Rolodex. So next time you need to get in touch with, you're trying to think, well, what was the name of that guy that I used to work with 5 years ago? Or you can find them on LinkedIn and get in touch with them via LinkedIn. It's also really powerful for online networking and making new connections. And a lot of people in manufacturing use it very effectively to spread their influence, to display their expertise and their knowledge, and to pick up new clients, new prospects, and to develop relationships with existing customers. Number 16, basic SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization. Now, at JDR, we do a lot of search engine optimization. It's a big topic, and it's something that I would recommend for almost every business. However, there are some basic things that you can do which really don't take a lot of time, which I believe absolutely every business should do. And if you want to find a way of getting some more customers in the next year ahead, then just doing the basics with your website is a very quick, simple way of doing that. It's a quick win. So the thing you want to do is to take the keywords that you want to be found by and add them into the titles and descriptions on the pages of your website. Every page of your website should have its own title and its own description. So you'll find that if you've got a website that's built in a content management system like WordPress, for example, or in other words, you have a website that you can update and change yourself, you'll see somewhere in the page editing a space for title, description, or it could be called meta title, meta description, and fill those in with relevant keywords, and it's going to make it more likely that your website will come up in Google. It's worth having this done professionally. Again, you can talk to us about doing that. There's plenty of other search engine optimization companies as well, but it is worth having that done professionally. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It does make a difference. It doesn't take long. It has a high rate of return. Number 17 is pay-per-click advertising. So these are the ads that appear on the first page of Google. Now, you can see this is the search phrase CNC machining Birmingham, right? And the first three results are all adverts, but they're designed to look like the regular search results. Now, a lot of people say people don't click on Google ads. Well, a lot of people do click on them, sometimes because they don't even realize that they are ads. But Google made something like £35 billion last year from people clicking on those ads. So people definitely do click on them. And if they don't click on them, it doesn't cost you anything. With pay-per-click, you're only paying for the clicks for the people that do actually click. So pay-per-click is a very effective way of driving very targeted people to your website who are looking for your specific products and services. Be wary though, if you use a third-party company, be wary of the cheap services out there. You get what you pay for in this world. And our belief with pay-per-click is that it requires ongoing and expert management. So it's worth going to jdrgroup.co.uk/PPC to find out a bit more about what's involved in pay-per-click management. But it enables you to track results really, really closely. So everything I was saying at the start about tracking your marketing results, you can do that with pay-per-click advertising. You can track how much it costs you to get an inquiry, how much it costs you to make a sale on your website, and you can then very, very easily track the return on investment. So when it's done well, when it's done by a professional, when it's done effectively, pay-per-click is a fast and it's predictable and it's scalable source of new inquiries. So you can rely on it and you can grow your business with it. Number 18 is email marketing. Now, email marketing is it's something that divides a lot of people. When you send outbound emails to lists of people that have never heard of you before, or never come across you before, it generally has low response rates, but there is still a very valid place for email marketing as a way of breaking into new markets or reaching people that wouldn't have otherwise come about you. And there are a couple of ways that you can get around those low response rates, or you can address those low response rates. One of those is to personalize the emails. So to make sure you're sending them to a person and you use their name and you use their company name if you can. And the second is to segment so that you're sending very, very targeted emails, not just kind of broadcast emails that are going to tens of thousands of people where it's just not going to be relevant for a high majority of them. You want to make sure that as much as possible they're relevant to the people that you're sending them to. And thirdly, you can automate it. Now, I'm going to talk a bit more about automation in a second, but by automating the process, saves you a huge amount of time and you can be much more sophisticated about what you do and how you do it. Relevant email marketing is still a great way of reaching a very specific target market, and it's a very fast way of reaching a very specific target market. Number 19, a little bit like the trade shows, I'm also going to ask you to reconsider hiring new salespeople in certain circumstances. You see, salespeople generally have a high cost. You've got a salary, you've got bonus structure, you've got laptops, phones, cars, etc. You may look at a cost of, say, £50,000 a year for a decent salesperson when you factor all those things in. Now, it's only about 1 in 5, 1 in 10 salespeople that are effective. They tend to be very hit and miss. Now, if you've got to go through 5 salespeople in order to find one good one, that is an extremely expensive way of going about it. Salespeople are really, really good for building and developing relationships. So when you've got customers that need looked after, accounts that need managing, you have long, complicated sales process that needs an expert to be involved every step of the way. You just can't replace that. You can't. That's where you absolutely, definitely need salespeople. But where salespeople are less effective is if you're using them as a marketing tool for generating new leads or new opportunities. If you're trying to use salespeople to go cold calling, door knocking, telemarketing, to have them doing new business generation, that's quite an expensive way of going about it. And in the main, that will be extremely hit and miss. And your investment could be much better made with certain forms of online marketing where you'll get a much bigger bang for your buck. Number 20 is automate. Now, I mentioned this earlier. Automation allows you to do certain marketing activities without needing a person to do it. So you're able to send people emails without anyone actually having to physically send the email. So you can set up a whole sequence of emails that go out to a potential customer over the course of a year, and then they go out according to which pages of the website they've looked at, how they've engaged with your website, which emails they've opened. So, for example, I went to Amazon recently and looked at running shoes. I didn't buy anything. I just looked at the trainers and then I left. And 2 days later, I got an email that was personalised to me, that gave me a guide about how to choose the perfect running shoe, and it was a place I could go to get some further information. Now, Amazon, no one on Amazon was actually physically looking at what I was looking at. That was automated. But it's incredibly powerful how you can automate messages that go to certain people depending on how they visit your website and how they engage with your social media, and all of that can be integrated with your CRM system. So the CRM I mentioned earlier, the marketing information can be linked to that, so the two things work together. So automation allows you to stay in touch with customers and prospects regularly. What that does is it increases conversion rates, increases average order sizes, it reduces the sales cycle and means you get sales happen faster. There are services like HubSpot, Infusionsoft, and also MailChimp that can produce this. There are hundreds of these automation programs. We specialize in HubSpot, Infusionsoft, but there are lots and lots of others. We've tested something like 60, 70 different marketing programs over the past 2-3 years. And as I say, they can link together with your CRM. Now, automation totally changed manufacturing. When Henry Ford introduced the automated production line in the 30s, it changed the face of manufacturing. And automation is now doing the same thing for marketing. So don't get left behind. This is going to be a big part of the next year, 2 years in marketing and beyond. So those are our 20 tips. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope it's been useful for you. I want to encourage you, if you have questions on any of the things that I've talked about, because we could do hour-long sessions on every single one of those 20 points we've covered today. But if there are any questions that you've got on any one of those points, feel free to drop me an email at will@jdrgroup.co.uk, or give us a call. There are people on hand in our office at any time that can answer the phone and help answer your questions. So that number is 01332 343 281. Now, in all of our marketing, we say you should always have a call to action. So let me just give you a free resource that you can download if you would like to get a bit further information. It's called How to Get Customers Coming to You. Now, if you're watching this video on our YouTube channel, you can go to jdrgroup.co.uk, and on the homepage you'll see where it says Get a Free Guide. If you're watching this on a page of our website, you'll see that there is a link that you can go to where you can get this ebook, this guide, and we'll send it to you by email. What it covers, we've developed over the past 3 years a system for getting customers coming to you rather than you having to go out to them, and how to make sure that they're qualified and ready to buy by the time they come to you. It's a step-by-step system. There are 5 steps to the system. The ebook covers those steps. It explains how we've used them in our own business, what results we've seen, and how that's impacted on our clients. And it also gives you some of the specific strategies that you can employ to get that working in your own business. So I hope you'll go ahead and get this resource. You'll find it's extremely useful. But once again, thanks for watching, and have a great next few months of marketing and growing your business.